hopefully the people you encounter in your lives become more interesting and reveal themselves and surprise you as you get to know them too.
You know, magic has been a prevailing interest in all of your books. Why do you think you're so drawn to the idea of magic?
I think that magic is essentially just a metaphor, right? It's just another kind of power. And I think as I've written, the magic in my books has gotten smaller, and the real world has overtaken it. Because I think magic is at its most interesting when it is limited and when it exists for a metaphor for power. So in Ninth House and Hellbent, there are very real secret societies at Yale that, to one degree or another, wield economic, social, political influence. Well, what if they wielded magical influence as well? And what does it mean to put that kind of power into the hands of a bunch of undergrads? When I was writing this book, The Familiar, I wanted to pose the question of what magic might look like to the church of the time and where the line between magic and miracle actually exists.
And one thing that happens in all three of those books is that figures of authority or governing bodies try to co-opt your heroes who have these extraordinary abilities. That seems to be a prevailing theme.
Well, I think that is a natural theme. I think that we see again and again that once somebody's gifts or abilities are discovered, that they essentially become commodified. And so you're going to have people who want to use them for their own ends. And I think it's worth saying, too, that if you pose the question during the Renaissance, and maybe even now, what's the difference between magic and a miracle? The answer is, well, who is performing that magic or miracle? That's going to tell you whether it's holy and safe or not.
We need to take a short break here. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with author Leigh Bardugo. Her new novel is The Familiar. More after a break. This is Fresh Air.
So, you've never donated to this station before? It's okay. Public Media Giving Days are a great time to make your first gift. Here's how. Visit WHYY.org/donate to support the news you rely on. Thank you.
Supporting WHYY, the Marcus Institute of Integrative Health, Jefferson Health. For brain fog or diminished brain performance, Jefferson's Marcus Institute offers novel diagnostic assessments and clinical treatments. jeffersonhealth.org/MarcusBrain.
This is Fresh Air. Our guest is author Leigh Bardugo, whose new fantasy novel takes place in 16th century Spain. It's called The Familiar. Leigh, I wanted to talk about the series that you've been working on. The first two books came out before The Familiar. It's, I guess I'm going to call it the Ninth House series. There's two of them so far, Ninth House and Hellbent. And this is a really clever rewriting of Yale University, where you went to school. Yale is known for having these secret societies, where a lot of the most famous alum were members. Perhaps the best known of these societies is Skull and Bones, where the two Bush presidents were members. But so you've imbued them with the ability to do magic. They all have specialties, like Skull and Bones prognosticates by reading human entrails. So how did this idea come to you?
I mean, I think it began when I was an undergrad. When I was an undergraduate, we still wrote letters, and our post office was off campus, and I remember walking back, reading a letter as a freshman, and I looked up from my letter, and to my right were the gates of the Grove Street Cemetery, which is really right in the middle of campus. And there's the gates are these sort of huge Neo-Egyptian plinth that reads, "The dead shall be raised." And to the left was a massive mausoleum on a street corner, the size of an apartment building, with black wrought iron fences around it with black wrought iron snakes crawling up them. And later I would learn that this was Book and Snake, which is one of what are called the Ancient Eight, the old landed societies that have tombs, or really just clubhouses.